Welcome back to Ljubljana in Slovenia for the International Skating Union's Junior Grand Prix Series. Day 2 of competition, the rhythm dance complete, but now we look ahead to the first medals to be decided. There are 24 men competing in the free skate from 23 different skating nations, and all of them hoping for personal bests. So the men's free skate comes up right now. Welcome back to Ljubljana in Slovenia, and site of the old town, which is so beautifully quaint and a favourite for so many on the International Skating Union who have been to this location 5 times in Ljubljana, 8 times Slovenia has hosted a Junior Grand Prix, and indeed a Junior Grand Prix final took place in Lake Bled in Slovenia back in 2001, and this venue which we're descending upon now, the home for so many of the best junior skaters in the world, on the 6th of 7 stops on the International Skating Union Junior Grand Prix Series 2024. There, the judging order with Mr. Rolf Pipo, referee, and there Sam Wood, technical specialist, one of 3 members of the technical panel. And we will be treated to 24 performances in the junior men's free skate. 4 groups of 6 men. As I said in the opening, all eager for personal bests and an opportunity to show all the hard work that has been put in the off-season and throughout their skating career. Many of the men in this competition are competing in their final Junior Grand Prix assignment ever, which is, for hopefully many of them, a celebration. Lots of amazing experiences traversing the globe, representing their nation in the sport that they love. And I will be joined hopefully by Ted Barton, who is currently working hard in Canada, supporting the Canadian skaters in domestic competition as part of the production that he works on for Skate Canada. And they do such an incredible job, as to do the team here on the International Skating Union. So many glorious Italian passionate humans, part of our production team, who do a brilliant job and who will be traveling to Shanghai on Sunday and taking all of the Junior Grand Prix on tour to the final stop that takes place next week in Wuxi. As we see Ziga Jevnik, the opening competitor representing the home nation, and just warming up comfortably with double axel. We'll have 4 warm-up groups, and therefore opportunities to ask any questions that you listeners have, and we would love to hear from you. Love to hear indeed who are you looking forward to watching throughout the course of the competition. We've had some further questions coming in, or some statements. Yesterday we heard from those online, and from @Damisoto said that you've asked about our favourite skaters on the Junior Grand Prix, and they've explained that their heart really goes out to Sofia from Greece and the Vietnamese competitor in the junior women's division, who are skating beautifully with so little resources at their disposal. And this camera angle showcases a rink that is 60 metres in length and 30 metres in its width, and that an Olympic-sized rink eligible for the World Championships and Olympic competition. And that is not something that all of the skaters that are competing at Junior Grand Prix are fortunate enough to experience. And many of the skaters come in with vastly varying different opportunities in terms of their training location, as we see the ISU photographer Yuri lying on the floor, ever eager to get better and better shots. As we see the remaining competitor, Razvan, working up triple flip, that new to his planned program content, eager to showcase that within the context of his 3.5-minute free program. We've also had some questions pertaining to the different component scores, and the skaters, all of the skaters across all of the disciplines, will be given 3 scores in the program components, and they comprise of composition, which is generally how the program is designed and built in relation to the music, and then the middle component is a reflection of the skater's presentation, and how that is how the program is performed in relation to the music. And the definition for the judges there and the criteria is the demonstration of engagement, commitment, and involvement based on understanding of the music. And the final one, the skating skills, arguably the most valuable or the most weighted. It's not said so in the criteria, but so often the skaters and the coaches will recognize that skating skills weigh heavy on the baseline for the judges' program component scores, and that is the technique of skating and movement and the ability of the skater to execute all the steps and turns and skating movements with blade and body control. And throughout the course of the rhythm dance which preceded this men's free skate, we referenced some of the difficult turns, the repertoire of the turns, and what questions came in on the back of that was regarding the different edges on our blade. And you will see for all the skaters, the blade for a free skater slightly longer than that for an ice dancer, with a bigger toe pick at the front, that to enhance their jumping ability. And on each of the blades, an inside and an outside edge. And our whole vocabulary of movement is based upon the combinations of the forward, inside, outside, and backward, inside, and outside edges. And here the axel takes off a forward outside onto an Euler to a back inside, and landing finally on a backward outside edge for Arttu Juusola, the Finnish competitor. And then again, confirmation of that start order. And we will finish the men's free skate with the highest placed skater after the short program, and that Jacob Sanchez, who I believe had the 5th highest ever junior men's short program score. He was quite brilliant, as too was Adam Hagara. He, another skater to achieve a personal best, and we so sincerely hope that ideally all 24 of the men competing will be able to achieve a personal best, and perhaps that of this first group will dictate and pave the way in the energy and in the arena for those yet to come. Towards the end of the rhythm dance, which has not long since finished, we could see Ziga Jevnik warming up ringside as he prepares, and each of the subsequent performers in this competition will be likely in the venue already warming up mentally and physically to try to deliver their best. And they'll sense the energy in the venue as you see Yuri again crouching down, lying on the floor to do what's necessary to get the perfect shot, as Anja Otovic gives parting wisdom to Ziga.
Ladies and gentlemen, representing Slovenia, Ziga Jevnik.
And whatever was said, it brought a smile to the face of Ziga Jevnik. He may be the 24th of the 24 men after their short program, but he comes in with no junior competitive experience and an advanced novice previously, now junior Grand Prix competitor. Well, that is a brilliant way to start the men's free skate. The home skater, Jesnica, his place of birth and his hometown, just over an hour away from Ljubljana, as the Slovenian flag is proudly waved, and you could hear the support of the skaters. And such a great opportunity to show where he is at as he goes for the triple flip, using it in this short program, and it was under-rotated there, under-rotated here, but much more successful in terms of clinging on to a back outside edge. Here, the triple salchow again, under-rotated yesterday, under-rotated here. You can just see the blade not landing fully backwards, but nevertheless an indication of where he's at and delivering what he is capable of. The difference for this double axel, indisputably, you can see the running edge or the toe pick touching nice, fully rotated, landing on a back inside edge, rocking onto back outside, but will receive the full value of 3.3 points for that double axel. And here, in terms of the judges' component scores, the Rocky music was acknowledged. He did give a commitment to the music style that was necessary for that. And here, the choreo sequence. And this, the hydroglide. Not the ice coverage that we will see later. Not the clarity and depth of edge, again, that we'll see later. But as he goes for the second triple salchow, also dealing with rotation issues, but obviously a really good skate for where Ziga comes into this, and great posture in his finished position as he proudly hits his final pose. And as I say, competing just at advanced novice level previously. So this is a huge step up, not just a junior competition, but a junior competition on the International Skating Union Junior Grand Prix Series alongside the likes of Jacob Sanchez, who posted the 5th highest ever short program junior men's score. So one opportunity now, and we hope that Ziga celebrates, but also sits back to enjoy watching those that he can learn from ahead. So 65.64 for Ziga, and a smile shared between he and his coach. And we congratulate him and look forward to seeing him as he celebrates now. Chance to relax.
Next to skate.
And now to a much more experienced skater in Matvii Yefymenko, the Polish skater who has and can do quadruple jumps. I've seen quadruple tone in practice, but competed last week in his home country in Gdansk, but struggled in this short program. Matvii Yefymenko from Poland, and he delivered 7 triples last week in Gdansk, and he has done the same thing here, and what's perhaps even more impressive is he managed to do the triple lutz, triple toe in the second part of the program, having struggled with the first triple lutz, which previously last week was that heavily weighted triple-triple. So showcasing much more consistency. I suppose he's been consistent across both programs, across both competitions, because he struggled more so in the short program last week as he did here. And this glorious double axel with great rotational position and such wonderful flow with the changes of edge, the double 3 turn, the spread eagle, and then the rocker. Here, struggling to consider what to do with the triple lutz, which, as I say, was meant to be triple-triple. Here, the same combo that he used last week, triple flip, Euler, triple salcho. No question of rotation, not the flow and glide that he perhaps had last week. Perhaps Matvii just a little bit fatigued after the back-to-back assignments. And here part of the choreo sequence. And you can see great change of edge from the inner bar to the spread eagle. This is so impressive. Starting to flail with the skating skills, but managing to dig deep enough to do the second triple lutz and manage, despite the exhaustion, to do a fully rotated triple toe at the end. And perhaps might be just more connected to the Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence by Ryuichi Sakamoto music than that of the short program, the Scorpions. Although it's a brave choice of short program music, but certainly seems at this point in time to be more comfortable with this, the pre-program. And this season will continue and progress. Last year he did multiple internationals, and I suspect the same will be the case for Matvii, as he vies to be a junior world championship competitor. That another big stepping stone for these athletes. Personal best is 119, but the season's best 104. And the mistakes on some of the landings and less quality grades of execution on the 7 triples here, resulting in a 98.98 for Matvii. And obviously that comfortable lead for the Polish skater. How many places can that performance help him crawl up to after the 23rd place short program that he started today in? And now to the Romanian 15-year-old from Brasov, Razvan Cionac, 22nd after the short program. And they're just walking through the salcho takeoff. And there's 2 triple salchos planned as he skates to leave a light on and daylight.
The second someone mentioned you about me, and I could feel the trouble coursing through your veins. Now I know it's gotta go. Just a phone call of an answer that we sparking up. These sad devils won't stop me wondering where I don't let go. Keep on. You look into the distance, there's a house upon the hill, guiding like a lighthouse. It's a place where you seek to feel like grace, cause we've all made mistakes. If you've lost your way, well, how is it all? Well, how is it all? Well, how is it all?
Razvan Cionac is missing the final note on an otherwise elegant skater with some really good choreography in moments. Choreography by Andrea Vatturi, a brilliant Italian choreographer. And you can just see such a great example of a skater in their development as Simona Punga greets him off the ice. I think there's so much potential here in Razvan as you see storytelling, so consideration, trying to convey a very clear composition and presentation. This is top drawer stuff at the very beginning of the program from Razvan. Triple flip, still getting the undersign, so close to getting fully rotated, as was the case with the triple salcho. Wanted that in combination. And here, I love this transition. The Ina Bauer into the drag with the 3-turn, and then changing direction, Ina Bauer again. And the openness of neckline showcases real maturity and body alignment. Squeezing out a triple toe, double toe. And there, this was fun to see the mistake on the triple salcho, then the double 3-turn, then manages to put it in combo with the Euler double salcho. I just think so much potential as someone waves the camera. And obviously, including the triple flip, the consistency level of the triple flip, I assume, not that of the easier triples, the salcho and the toe for Razvan, but mindful of the need to include them in his planned program content. In fact, he had triple lutz in his planned program content as well. So hopefully, as the season progresses, he'll be able to include both of those triples. Just as a reference, triple flip worth 5.3 points. Or is it triple salcho worth a point less? So just increased difficulty, part of the plan, I'm sure, for Razvan and Simona, who such a caring coach, so committed to her students and trying to help the Romanian Skating Federation move forward and become increasingly competitive on the international stage.
Razvan Cionac z Rumunii je za svůj prostý program přiuštějící
74.66, so 3 points higher than in Ostrava Czech skate. But I think Razvan certainly the potential to be adding 10 points to that as the season progresses. More stamina involved, more speed, and hopefully a triple lutz and triple flip as well. And as the announcer establishes the scores of Razvan, we see Benedek Pal Dozsa, the Hungarian skater, really looking like he's confidently attacking the speed to present towards the judges and the audience. 21st after this short program. And Benedek actually had some pretty good success with the jumping passes yesterday, but struggled with one of the mandatory spins.
There's an angel contemplate my fate. Do they know the places where we go when we're gray and old? 'Cause I have been told that salvation lifts their wings unfold. So when I'm lying in my bed, thoughts running through my head, and I feel that love is dead, I'm loving angels instead. And through it, oh, she offers me protection, a lot of love and affection. Whether I'm right or wrong, and down the waterfall, separate my side. I don't believe it's fair. Slit my throat, it's all I am. I heard you lost to the photograph. I thought that I'd been brought up the bed. Won't you know you can never go back? I gotta take it on the other side. The sky started and she's in my bed. A candidate for a soulmate blend. Push the trigger and I pull the thread. I gotta take it on the other side. Take it on the other side. Take it on. Take it on. Separate my I don't believe it's fair. Sitting in the road, so I am.
Benedek Pal Dozsa representing Hungary, a skater who had such attack at the early start of the program, had the confidence at the end of the choreography to direct his energy back to the judging panel, assigning the grades of execution and the components for him. This skater will be competing in the Budapest Trophy next week, and hopefully there'll be the ability to just clean up on so many small detail. Unfortunately for Benedek, although lots of potential, there weren't very many of the elements with a positive grade of execution. Here, the best of which probably the triple flip. And you can see, as is often the case, the skater just glancing down to see the amount of rotation fully achieved in the air. This, the triple toe, such a great drawback for the tapping in of the left toe. But unfortunately, that step out forces the judges to go down in the grade of execution. And here you can see the fatigue starting to set in. So for the judges, the skating skills component will be a reflection of a percentage of the program. And there, both of the double axels suffering from a similar fate. Fatigue just setting in. This was great though, the choreo sequence and the final spin, the spin that had the best outcome. Both the flying camel spin and the change foot combination spin just a level 1. And indeed in the short programming had a level 1 in one of the spins as well. So those comparatively easy points to accrue for Benedek. Hopefully he can just devote a little bit more time to spins, perhaps at the end of his training sessions, to ensure that level 4s are safely guaranteed by the judges, and those the fallback points, irrespective of whether or not the success in the jumping passes. But lots of speed, power, aggression. I love the way in which he took to the ice at the start of the program. Just perhaps a program that all the mistakes that were made can be eradicated with more run-throughs as the season progresses. We're now into October. I'm not sure when the Hungarian National Championships are, but likely to be a few weeks' time. And that offers Benedek and his coaching staff the chance to increase the stamina and confidence to stick more landings and secure higher levels.
Benedek Pal Dozsa iz Maďarske je za svoj prostý program svoju
This is a 71.49 for Benedek. Third on the free skate, second overall based on his combined total.
Benedek Pal Dozsa from Hungary has earned 71.48 points for his free skating and in total 180 points, 10 points, what currently brings him to the second place.
And now to 15-year-old Daniel Ruis.
Next,
Another skater who struggled in the short program, but some great aspects to this young skater. Self-choreographed again, overseen by his coach, Neil Chesterton.
to the final show. I hope you're wearing your best clothes. You can't bribe the door on your way to the sky. You look pretty good down here, but you ain't really good. We never got away from me before. Why are we always stuck and running from the bullets? The bullets. We never got away from me before. Why are we always stuck and running from the bullets? The bullets. Just stop your crying, it's a sign of the times. We gotta get away from here. We gotta get away from here. Just stop your crying, it'll be alright. It's only when the end is near. We gotta get away from here. Just stop your crying every time of your life. Breaking through the atmosphere. Things are pretty good from here. The bullets. We never got away from me before. Why are we always stuck and running from the bullets? The bullets. Stop your crying, baby, it's a sign of the times. We gotta get away. We got to 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 get away. We got to, we got to. We got to, we got to. We got to, we got to.
I bellissimo prosti program predstavnika Avstrije Daniela Ruisa.
Ideally looking for long running back outside edges here. The early placement of the left foot down on the ice forces the judges to have a negative grade of execution rather than the positive that Daniel's certainly capable of when performing triple salcho's in isolation. These moments showcasing different energy and different timing from some languid movements, sustained positions to a sharpness. And that, again, a reflection of his musical interpretation, which should fall under the presentation component. And then again, that variation in the movement from the long sustained movement following those toe steps of quick energy. And this where he had his actually most successful element, or the most successful elements, definitely the spins. 2 level 4s, 1 level 3, and all the spins, a positive creative execution for Daniel. And fascinatingly, his coach Neil has created a training app and a platform for Daniel to manage his off-ice too, and conscious of the need to rehab from injury and look after injuries to facilitate his progression forward. And what an inspiration Daniel will hopefully be to Anna, Leo, and Natalie, his siblings, I hope are watching and cheering him on at home, and hopefully eager to follow in his footsteps.
So Nikis, Daniela Ruisa is Austrian,
So 88.7 points. You can see component score of 52.22 versus a technical score of 36.48. That an obvious indication the strength of Daniel's skating skills, composition and presentation. Those in the 5s, higher than any we've seen so far by some way. And hopefully with more training time, Daniel will be able to match the program components with strong tech score too. And now to Arttu Juusola. He was 12th in Riga but struggled with the short program. He had a fall on the triple flip. Struggled a little bit with the flying camel spin, but hopefully that'll be ammunition to fuel a free skate of great conviction and confidence. Arttu Juusola completes his free skate, and some of the early jumping passes were just of such great quality, really excellent technique on the triple lutz and the triple flip. And the positive grades of execution incoming for the first 50% of the elements, really impressive. And then, as is to be expected, the fatigue setting in, preventing the quality being replicated through the latter stage of the program for Arttu, and that double axel fall was difficult. And for Arttu, Neil Brown, the ice dance coach, here with him because his coach Elisa has come down with a fever and thus not able to be with him, and so we wish her all the very best. And here, huge triple lutz with wonderful flowing edge, that quality of takeoff and landing, brilliant. Here, triple flip, equally big in elevation, not quite as good a running edge, but the problem for that jump is just the takeoff edge is a question mark over it, and regarding it being not a back inside triple loop, equally good. And at this point, Arttu was just showcasing such quality. Here though, the first of the double axels was good. Double axel Euler, maintaining flow throughout, that's so important in a sequence. And the Euler triple salcho, and his ability to maintain speed and flow throughout all three of the jumps within that will produce another positive grade of execution, but here, unfortunately, where things unfurled. And just landing forwards on the double axel, causing that to be downgraded. So as I say, we send our best get well wishes to Elisa, his coach, and gratitude to Neil for stepping in to support Arttu. I think they've worked together previously on program component scores together, and how fortunate for Arttu that despite the sadness of his coach being unwell, he's got somebody else here to support him as he analyzes the performance, just shaking his head, questioning himself as to why mistakes happen laterally. 100.73 for Arttu. That better than in Riga on the free skate, but the mistakes in the short program prevent that being a season's best overall. And he leads ahead of Matvii Yefymenko at this stage, as Neil Brown tries to make positives, despite the fact that Arttu obviously wanted, understandably, more, but the quality of some of those jumping passes indicates he has the potential for much greater as the season progresses.
The following skaters may now take the ice for 6 minutes warm-up. From Turkey, Ege Alacan, from Ukraine, Vadym Novakov, from Bulgaria.
And so the next 6 men take to the ice for their 6-minute warm-up. You can see already increase in speed generally across the 6 men currently warming up. And a shout out again to those of you viewing. If you do have any questions, please reply to the International Skating Union's Instagram page, where there's a questions box if you have any questions that you would like us to answer. Ted will be joining hopefully at some point in this broadcast, and again he'll be back tomorrow for the women's free skate, and then the conclusion also of the free dance, in which we will be joined by the world champions Madison Chock and Evan Bates. And as we watch the men working through their technical elements in this warm-up, just a chance to discuss a little bit about the grade of execution, which we reference so often and so readily. And for those of you unfamiliar, the grade of execution pertains to the difference in score that will happen to the value of each element. If a skater falls on an element, the judges are then forced to give a mandatory -5 grade of execution in order to achieve a +5, which is an extreme rarity. There are very clear criteria for the judges to be able to do that, and for the skater in which to attain it. So if we're looking at a jumping element, the skaters need to achieve 5 bullet points. And now there are 6 bullet points from which to have. The first 3 the most important. Very good height and very good length of the jump. A good takeoff and a good landing, and a sense of effortlessness throughout, including rhythm and a jump combo or a sequence. If the skater then has achieved all of those and they're a +3 grade of execution element, they will have a corresponding boost to the base value of that jump. To achieve a +4 or +5, they need to have done all that, and then they have the choice to add further by adding steps before the jump or a creative entry, or showcase a very good body position from the takeoff to the landing. Or their other opportunity would be to have the element matching the music, and often we'll see that as a consideration of the choreographer in the composition and presentation of the program by making sure that a jump's landing is intended to happen at the start of a new phrase of music, but their chance to access that positive GOE so much based on those first 3 bullet points. So look out for which skaters show the very good height and very good length, the good takeoff and landing, and that is often a reflection on an understanding of what constitutes good takeoffs and good technique. And then see who showcases effortlessness throughout. And Jacob Sanchez, the current leader in this men's event, demonstrates a brilliant example of effortlessness, as does Adam Hagara, the second place skater from Slovakia after the short program. And that's part of the reason that their technical element score consistently helps them to be highly ranked in the junior men's events. Luka Imedashvili working through his triple-triple combinations, and the other way in which the skaters can increase their technical score, not just by the grade of execution, but is increasing the difficulty of the jumps that they intend to use. So we've just seen Luka performing a triple flip, triple toe, and that will have a higher value than the triple-triple that's currently, I think, in this system. Well, we had triple toe from Arttu. And that's got a clear base value. And there is a communication from the International Skating Union. If you want to check on the scale of the values of the various different elements, the International Skating Union has that as part of its communication list, communication number 2656. And there list all the elements the skaters will include this season on that communication. We now have quintuple jumps with a value. Previously that wasn't on the scale of values for the 2023-2024 season, but perhaps based on the phenomenal, mind-blowing quad axel of the world champion Ilia Malinin, that's why that has been included. And it's yet to be seen whether or not we will see a quintuple jump. Ilia Malinin has teased the notion of it. That kind of feat would surely blow the minds of the skating fans who never thought such a thing would be possible. A quintuple jump, a quintuple toe, or in fact, any quintuple jump of any takeoff. Toe, salco, loop, flipper, lutz, not axel, but any of those 5 would have 14 points at base value. And some might argue that such a feat would be worth even more, such as its unbelievable concept to even attempt such a thing. I've seen some skaters attempting quintuple jumps on a harness on social media. And indeed, we've seen some skaters who can perform quadruple jumps with such ease that it looks like a 5th rotation is possible. Genrikh Gartung, the German skater who will compete in the final group, his quad lutz looks like it's possible for him to rotate more than 4 rotations in the air, such as the quality of the elevation he amasses following his takeoff. And now to Ege Alacan, the 17-year-old from Istanbul. This is second Junior Grand Prix. And he had some success in the short program, finished 18th there, just fell on the double axel, the last of his jumping passes. So hopefully he has the run-through stamina for success throughout the 11 elements in his free skate to Adagio for strings. Ege Alacan, and you might just notice before the screen closes, 51 points in the technical element score currently for Alacan. The matching tech score for Arttu Juusola, and now that will be under surveillance by the technical panel as they review now 3 of the 11 elements. And multiple triple jump attempts with respectable quality, certainly for the opening triple flip or the triple salto. Brave and bold combination delivered well, and good use of the toe pick there. Triple flip, Euler, triple salto, and managed to stick the landing and force the judges to give a narrow positive GOE as we see the second triple flip. More comfortable than the first. Unfortunately here, triple loop, way open with his left side of his body, so not comfortably over his axis point. But much better for the triple loop double toe, the second loop in the program. And you can see just fatigue setting. It's so often the case, and we reference it all the time, but great to see them shaping hearts in the kiss and cry. Coaches and skaters really getting behind the notion of promoting positivity and kindness, particularly online. And so Alacan had explained that he didn't have much time to prepare last year for his Junior Grand Prix in Istanbul, felt more prepared for this, and certainly on reflection of scores, it was 83.57 in Istanbul for Ege Alacan, and it's going to be significantly higher. There'll be the mandatory 1-point deduction for the fall on the loop. But a skater much more comparable in regards to the two different scores. Ideally, the skaters are ultimately trying to have a fairly equal number between the tech score and the program components. Turkey is showcased, and it's 49 in the tech score, 50 in the component score, and a 99.9 total, and 151.49 overall to move 0.13 of a point above Arttu Juusola. And good to see smiles on the faces in the kiss and cry. And now to one of the skaters in their final Junior Grand Prix, Vadym Novakov. He managed a top 10 place in Ostrava earlier on this circuit, this series, skating to Rhapsody in Blue by George Gershwin. Well, the 18-year-old from Odessa in Ukraine, Vadym Novakov, likely concludes his junior Grand Prix career as he's cheered on proudly with the Ukrainian flag in the stands, shaking his head a little bit. That will not give him a score better than that which he secured the top 10 place with in Ostrava, but a big hug for coach as he leaves the ice, and a maturity that will lend itself well to stepping up into the senior ranks as we see the opening of the program. And you can see in the opening transitions, quality skating skills. The back edge suggested triple axel, the forward edge suggested a double. And here the triple lutz, triple toe, which eluded him in the short program, but a jumping pass that he's been doing for the past 3 years. I think in 2021 I saw him do triple lutz, triple toe, so fairly comfortable to be able to rotate 3 times on the landing of a less than ideal first jump. There's another big jump combo, triple flip, and then pulling back for the Euler into the triple salcho. And again, just not able to sustain the landing long enough to force a good grade of execution, but here things starting to unravel as fatigue settled in and unable to get the spring necessary from the left back outside edge to help. Here, the choreo sequence that defined by the technical panel when 2 skating movements are shown. This, though, was really cool. Love this split flip, half split flip, unique movement choice into the spread eagle. As you see Vadym Novakov's reaction there as he's joined by coach. And Vadym, after his last Junior Grand Prix, was very clear to thank online Skate Ukraine. He thanked the International Skating Union, and he thanked his coach, Irina Klansa, as well, and so much gratitude to all those helping him to compete, especially at this very, very difficult time. And now, hopefully, Vadym will be continually supported. And I believe the International Skating Union will continue to support Ukrainian athletes. And Vadym will be grateful if he's able to benefit from that as he moves towards the senior ranks. .117 in Ostrava, 106.52 in Ljubljana for Vadym. And again, components higher than the tech score, indicating a less than stellar skater. Not his best skate on this occasion, but he will lead the field at this stage, awaiting to see if this performance can help him to climb back further up the rankings, closer towards the top 10.
And that currently brings him to the first place.
And now to the 16th place skater after the short program, Deyan Mihaylov. An elegant skater with good refinement, a different approach. Unlike Vadym, more refinement, more elegance in his movement, maybe not as much power and speed. And he will skate to Grand Amour by Il Volo. Well, a big exhalation from Deyan Mihaylov as he considers what's taken place within the free skate, and it seemed to be a turning point on the fifth element, an intended double axel, where, in fact, actually it was after the fall on the third element, the triple loop, whereby things seemed to unravel, and he struggled mentally to recoup his composure for the remaining elements. Just in time, though, for the last two triple jumps, but that perhaps the reason he looks somewhat despondent as he leaves the ice. This opening opportunity to see the stylish class that he does have, good alignment in his back and in his body. And here, one of the big combinations, triple flip, not masses of elevation, little step up into the double axel. And then just missing the takeoff there of the triple lutz, and then the triple toe, which comes into the system under rotated. And this, the loop, which understandably totally curtailed the performance. Such a horrible fall that most skaters will have experienced at some point. Just never ideal to have that kind of takeoff happen in competition, and that paved the way for the mistakes that were made laterally. Managing to regroup a little bit in time for this triple toe, Euler, double salto. And you can see the air position there just starting to get a little bit more ragged as he's joined in the kiss and cry by his coach. And we are joined by Ted Barton, who returns to the broadcast.
Thank you, Mark. Glad to be back. As we just saw the tail end there of Deyan, and had some challenges through that program, and you can see him in the kiss and cry, a little despondent, and you always wonder what exactly goes through their head after a performance like that. Disappointment, of course, but wondering, where did that start? Where did it begin to unravel? What did I do, or what could I do to make sure that doesn't happen in the future? And it's always the question the coach has to allow the skater to express their feelings and understand, then later on perhaps talk about what was the lead up and where did you feel that you lost control. And it's always a bit of a discovery process, but that's what I guess a person's whole career is like, but particularly in juniors, it's a real learning period of time in their career.
And he had that personal best short program, so there was that satisfaction and self-pride with that, but then the roller coaster continues to today, having the disappointment of less than best.
Yeah, and in some cases, when you have that great short program, you kind of just take, oh, this is just going to carry on here. I'm going to be right on top on my free program. And then the first mistake goes, oh, now you begin to struggle again. So you get confidence, but sometimes you might get overconfidence, right? Or, yeah, there's so many things that go on in your head that it takes years to sort of sort it all out. Let's take a look at the free program scores, pardon me, for Deyan. And there it is, 92.57. That is fifth in the free program. And Deyan Mihaylov has a total score of 147.46, and that'll put him currently into fourth place, at least for the moment.
From Bulgaria has earned 92.57 points on free skating, and in total 147 points in the 46 point. And he's currently at the fourth place.
And now to a skater who was quite brilliant last week in Gdansk, representing Lithuania, Luka Imedashvili. And indeed, a nod to his heritage, because we'll skate to Sing 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 by Benny Goodman, whose mum is from Lithuania. And that all ties in to the fact that one of his hobbies is the history of Lithuania, somebody obviously incredibly proud of his heritage. Take 5, the first piece, Sing Sing Sing, the second.
Luka Imedashvili from Lithuania. What a superb talent this young man is. Superb explosive takeoffs, tight, straight, strong rotation position, soft landings, energy and performance. Maybe the spins have got some work to do, but that's pretty much it. This 14-year-old young man has a bright, bright future. Mark?
Yeah, a well-rounded skater, and I love so much of what he does. And he's such a character as well, not scared to hold back and showcasing his emotions at 14 years of age, which hopefully will continue throughout his career as we see the opening double axel.
Yeah, such a strong back as well. Look at the soft knees in that takeoff. Leaps way up in the air. Totally clears the rotation, no problem. Soft knees on the landing, up into the double toe loop. And got a strong back, good stretch in the free leg. There's that triple Lutz Euler, triple Saka with not a lot of flow, but he rotates so efficiently, he can make that work pretty much. Almost stopped. Here's the triple flip, straight up and down. Lots of knee action on the takeoff, which really helps him to explode off the ice.
Yes, event on event from last week to this, just wobbling there. I love parts of this, the choreo sequence, a back 3-turn within the catch spiral, but here changing direction, showcasing his comfort and confidence, 1 foot axel into inside axel, and that not something that you see all that often, and I love to see creativity.
You know, it's funny, when you see him in the kiss and cry, he looks like a young 13, 14-year-old boy. But when you see him on the ice, you go, well, this is his second life, because look how good he is. He has experience. Well, let's take a look at the free program scores. His personal best is 118.85. And he just might beat that here. And right now, that was a solid performance. And he does. Season best, 119.27. That's first in the free program so far. And he looks pretty happy with that, with a 175.46 as Luka Imedashvili takes over first place at the moment.
Luka Imedashvili from Lithuania has earned 119 points.
He's just 3 points off his personal best total score.
Altogether in this competition, he earned 175.46 points.
But that is, he earned that actually last week in Gdansk.
And he was 5th in the free skates. I wonder how that will fare as we move through the event, as Malika Tahir lifts her chin, presumably to encourage the posture of her student, Gianni Motilla. He said that he was very happy to have been given this second Junior Grand Prix experience this year. And yesterday shared on his social media that Brian Joubert, former world champion from his nation, was watching and tagged him saying how nice his triple toe was. That will be the second element in this, his free skate to redemption.
I've never felt this far from God. I almost feel like giving up again. But the fire that rages inside
Well, from France, Gianni Motilla. He had some beautiful elements in this program, but also some falls and a hard fall on the triple flip later in the program.
Yeah.
When you don't fully rotate and you're on the back of the heel and your weight comes down to that heel and it slips out in front of you, the next thing hitting the ice is your hips, and that took a hard fall. And he got back up for the rest of the program quite nicely. Good technique, very strong skater, good speed across the ice, and really nice spin positions as well. So he's got a lot to work with here. As we take a look at the double axel, it was supposed to be a triple. There's the triple Lutz, 3-turn quickly into the double toe loop. You need some finishing of positions on the landings, pointing the toe. There's that fall on the back of the heel. That was a little earlier in the program, in fact. Look at the speed coming down, the reach for the Lutz. That was really nice. Up into the double axel. But just pointed toes, stretch free leg, arms, hands, all those little polishing items that make the difference in the GOE score on the landings and make the difference between your middle of the pack to the top group.
Oh.
And there's that fall you can see on the back of the heel, and the hit slipped out and he landed right on the hips, and wow, that's a tough one. Good skater, challenging performance here in the free program.
Yeah, and for Gianni Motilla, what I think is so wonderful about what we've seen from the French team, we haven't necessarily seen team leaders, but we're seeing the coaches work together. I see that consistently when we've been working with you, Ted, on the Junior Grand Prix. Karine Aribert, the ice dance coach, joining Malika Tahir, his coach, and that support and camaraderie is so helpful for coaches and skaters.
And she's a leader, not just in dance, but on the team. The 98.90 for Gianni, that is 6th in the free program with a total competition score of 155.58. That will, for the moment, at least put him into 3rd place.
98.90 points. Altogether, he earned 150.
And you can see, you know, it's much like the Slovakian team. There's something happening there. And the same thing with the French team, at least in juniors. There's a camaraderie and a team build that we hadn't really seen before. We saw individual skaters, individual coaches, but something special happening there in France, I think.
And he was the final competitor yesterday. Now, the final competitor in this group, David Sedej, in the rousing cheer because he comes from this city. This will be his final Junior Grand Prix appearance in his free skate now. And what a way it would be to finish with the clean skate.
C'est une histoire qui a pour lieu Paris la belle en nom de Dieu 1482 Histoire d'amour et de désir Les artistes anonymes De la sculpture ou de la rue Tenteront de vous la transcrire Pour les siècles à venir Il est venu le temps des cathédrales
Well, a nice way to finish the Junior Grand Prix, or his junior career, really. David Sedej of Slovenia here at home in front of his friends and family and skating colleagues, as well as we see them stand and applaud. And this was a much better performance than the short program, and I think you're feeling of satisfaction to finish his junior career like that.
Yeah, and he
And a smile.
Yeah, and he competes senior and junior. I'm not sure what his plans are. He's just started university, or meant to be starting university right now this week. I'm not sure what David's plans are, but certainly, hopefully, a really fond memory to bring to a close his junior career.
Yeah, and an inspiration for young skaters in Slovenia, and particularly in Ljubljana, and being at the club there and training there for so long. As we take a look at the double axel, which is really nice, and triple Lutz, triple toe loop combination. Lutz was clean. The toe loop is under-rotated in the judging system. There's the triple loop after that. Was nice. He was on his game today. I think he was really focused to have a good skate. There's the triple flip forced Euler into a double Salchow. And the triple toe loop double axel a little bit later. So he looked pretty happy at the end of that performance to have done that at home in front of friends and family for his final Junior Grand Prix program.
And this is the kind of skate where points, we hope, don't really matter. Of course they matter because he's a competitor, but the significance of the moment and the sound of the crowd cheering him as he's joined by Katarina Burgett and the kiss and cry. It's just so much more than points. It's celebrating hard work, celebrating family. And he said that, I think I said that in the short program, that he wants to thank everybody that has been behind him. And he said his sister is another wonderful attribute to his team. She sometimes replaces Katarina at events as coach when she's unavailable. So, see, special. There's a life photograph
nice
memory.
For both. Especially, you know, I think it's even more special for the coaches who have spent so much time and so much of this young skater's life with them, guiding them, that when they finish a career and move on, there's a little bit of an empty spot there. And
it's a good question. It'd be wonderful to chat to Katarina and just see how she does feel. You almost sense she's being stoic here, but I'm sure she's full of emotion as well.
Yeah, totally. Let's take a look at the free program scores for David. A 102.34, that is third in the free program so far, with a total competition score of 161.12, and that will put David currently into second place at this stage of the competition.
He's currently at the second place.
Well, look at that! Just in time for the ice resurfacing and another installment of movie night in Ljubljana with the ISU video playback. What do we have lined up there, Mark?
Well, I'm just checking because we've got a little tweak and a little change, and so we have the interview with Ilia Malinin, and I think it might be the interview with Jacob Sanchez as well, but you'll have to excuse me. I definitely know we've got Ilia Malinin, so you've got a world champion. Stay tuned, don't go away, and then join us for the last two groups.
I hope you enjoy it. We'll be back after this. I'm Ted Barton here covering the Junior Grand Prix, but it's such an honor, such a pleasure to bring to you an interview with the current world champion, Ilia Malinin. He's just finished his morning training and he's taking a bit of a break now, so we have him for just a couple of minutes. Ilia, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem.
Your world changed. You changed the world, really, in Montreal. I remember being there, and I know you had a bit of a challenging time that year to get up to that point, and I'll never forget. The performance was unbelievable, but the moment that you sort of collapsed to the ice, either through exhaustion or pure joy, how has your life changed since that moment?
I mean, even to this day, I'm still trying to take that in, process what happened on those 4 minutes of my whole career. There were so many thoughts and emotions just running through my head after that. I could just not contain it all, and I just collapsed, and I just felt relieved. I felt proud of myself. I felt so much confidence and joy, and it just really helped me, I guess, solidify a part in my career as one of the greatest moments of my career.
Yeah, certainly at this point of your career for sure. So maybe there's more to come. Now, I had a really fun interview with your mom and dad, and of course, both skaters, both very accomplished skaters. And I asked them about your start in skating. They said, we really never planned for this to happen. Yeah, we planned for them to learn to skate, obviously, because it was a big part of their life. And so with that in mind, do you remember when you became fully engaged and in love with the sport of figure skating and you wanted to do something special with it? Was there a particular age or a particular event that sort of took you over to the top, said, no, I want to do this?
I mean, it was hard to find that time, because at first I was really just, I'm just doing this for fun. I was just like, let's see where this takes me, let's see how far. And I didn't know my full potential until maybe when I was competing around novice junior area as well. So I would say it's pretty recent. It was I was just kind of for fun trying out, see how it'd take me. And then all of a sudden, I was I think I have a lot more potential, and I feel that there's many things that I have not, learned or discovered in myself. And after that, ever since, I've always been trying to find these things or pick them out and kind of build me as a skater. And I mean, I'm definitely loving it right now because of how successful it's been for me, and it always gives me the confidence to keep pushing and to be better.
Well, no question. Let's go back a couple years. I think it was 2021, 22 that you finished your junior Grand Prix career. And of course, I had the pleasure to cover you through a number of those competitions. How important was the Junior Grand Prix experience for building the type of skater you are now?
I think that the junior level really starts to show who you can be as a skater. When I was in juniors, I was kind of worried that, maybe I'm not as good as the other skaters, or, that there might be a time where, I'd be I won't get there, I won't be there. But I think junior for me was just a time to really just find your base and find who you want to be as a skater. And then from there, just add on different things. For some people, it may be if they want to be a good jumper. From there, if they find out their jumps are really good and they feel it in their self, then they can just start working on that and then building other things as it goes on. But mainly, the main thing I noticed from that was try not to overthink everything at that moment, because everything is a process and it all takes time. So you really just have to kind of go with the flow and let things happen.
Oh, that's a very good point. You were a natural jumper right off the bat. I mean, seeing you in junior, that was never an issue. You had really good short programs, and you sometimes had challenges in the free program. Maybe, I don't know exactly why, you could explain that, but the juniors probably gave you some experience and, okay, I can do this. Why am I making mistakes in the free program? Tell us a little bit about that process.
Yeah, I remember that my long program was always the harder program for me. I think maybe just how long it was in a way. It was just kind of all the elements back to back to back. I kind of remember I'd always get ahead of myself and always, kind of think of the element after and not really focus on each element individually. That's kind of one of the tips my parents always give me, is just focus on each element one after the other and try not to get over and overthink it. Just try not to get ahead of yourself and let things happen. If it's bad, then whatever, you have to move on at that moment and keep going with the program. And I think I've started to master that already, to just, take everything nice and slow, one step at a time.
Yeah, what a good message. And you did not have many challenging free programs in your junior, so I don't want anybody to think you did. You had a couple, but you solved that issue quite quickly. Big question here, I'm sure that a lot of folks out there listening to this interview and have wandered around, is that, do you believe that 5 revolutions is possible? And if you do, who do you think will be the first person to do it?
I definitely think it's very possible. I know that with enough training and kind of preparing for it, then I think many skaters could achieve it. You have to really take this a different way. Similar to kind of the quad axel, it was, not a lot of people have, attempted it or managed to have successful attempts. So from there, it was kind of a new thing. And I had to really kind of just think of how do I manage this and how do I figure out what will be the best way to either overcome it or, fully rotate it or have a good technique for it. So it really took a lot more mental planning before, I was like, okay, I'm physically ready for this now. I just need to try to go for it.
Well, it's such a good mental or psychological approach to it. That's for sure, sort of one thing at a time. There are a lot of juniors who will watch this interview, watch you skate, look up at you as the quad god and all of that. And what kind of suggestions would you give or advice you would give to young juniors watching this as to what are the priorities in the juniors or in the Junior Grand Prix? What are the types of skills? I don't mean necessarily jumping skills, skating skills, artistic skills, those types of things. Where do you think a lot of their time should be spent in these years in the junior category?
I think I've noticed that a lot of people kind of struggle with the confidence or kind of that mentality when going on the ice. Is sometimes that, of course, when you're nervous, different people, they'll get tight, they'll feel either loose, they won't feel under their feet in a way. So I think the best thing for them to focus on is kind of that confidence and that really mentality. When you step on the ice, you just have to trust all the training that you've been doing and trust your team to really help you with whatever it may be and to just try to attack everything 100%. And I think that's the main thing, is just once you learn that, then everything else will be so much easier for you to accomplish at competitions.
Final point or question, and want to get your feedback on. You were primarily a technician to begin with, but you have created and woven into that technical prowess a beautiful performance level. When did that sort of start create interest for you to get involved in that and try to figure out the more artistic side of skating?
Moreover, I was really so caught up in trying to make sure my jumps were really clean, consistent, and that, there be minor mistakes on them that at some point it was just kind of, I didn't see any progress. So I started to think, maybe I should try to, work on this a little more. And of course, that might be a struggle for some people. They don't want to work on something more because it's not their strong spot. So of course, sometimes, I think that even now, just like, oh, I don't want to do the spin, I can't do it. But you really just have to overcome that. And, the more practice you do, the more it becomes easier and it becomes muscle memory. And then in the long run, it will become so easy that you don't even have to think about it. It was just, I need to start trying to find my own style of skating and really just dig out there to that creativity, that artistry, and that uniqueness.
So great that you've been so honest with yourself and honest to tell the story that, there's a lot of things you have to learn, and the things that you learn the first are the things that you enjoy the most. But you have to spend the time on the things you don't enjoy, and it's a great message for the young skaters out there. And, Ilia, thank you so much for taking this time. I know you have such a busy schedule to give something back to the juniors and to the Junior Grand Prix. It's been an honor.
Yeah, no, thank you. This was a lot of fun. Again, I used to be a junior skater, so this is a very familiar path for everyone to take, and I think that this will help them, kind of find themselves and see how they can take their skating to a next level.
Thank you so much, Ilia. Men's world champion Ilia Malinin here on the Junior Grand Prix. With the men's champion Jacob Sanchez of the United States. He takes the title with a 2:20.25. I was just speaking with Jacob before we went on air here, and he was telling me about all the challenges, new boots, and just having them break. But you took the title here. How did you feel about your free program?
I felt much better than previous events, and I'm very happy that I was able to come here and do what I did. It was definitely a very big step up, a brand new personal best for me, and it's also something to work on throughout the season to make better as the season progresses.
I've watched you on the Junior Grand Prix for the last couple of years, and you've always been one of the top skaters without a question, and you'd skate a great short program and have challenges in the free, but you look like a different skater this year. Why is that?
I really wanted to make some improvement in practice on how I really approach my free skate, because I'm very comfortable with the short program, but the free skate has always been like a mental game for me. So this year I've really taken the initiative to really make the free skate more of like a habit to skate instead of something that I'm like backing away. I want it to be more of something that I really enjoy and I really want to do. And I picked this year's free skate too, and it's music that I really loved. And I feel like having that music that I really loved really helped me in practice and really helped me get to where I'm at right now.
Do you do more run-throughs of you? Is it fair to say you do more run-throughs of your free program? First of all, because you love it, and second of all, because you know you have to deal with it?
Yeah, this year I've taken a different approach. I'm doing more free skates in practice and short programs because I really want to make that improvement on consistency as well as my performance and skating skills. So I've really taken the initiative to work more on my free skate, but I'm still training equally on my short program, but mainly focusing on that free.
Well, that's a great message for the young skaters out there too, because we talk a lot on the broadcast about run-throughs. You need to do your run-throughs, both short and free. Well, what an outstanding performance here. Congratulations on your first win on the Junior Grand Prix here. Where do you go next?
I don't know yet. As of right now, there's no second assignment, but I think it could be Slovenia because we have a spot there. I'm not sure if it was confirmed for the other skater, but that could be a possibility. But either way, I'm very happy that I was able to get one.
You've done such a great job, made such an improvement this year. Congratulations on that. I really look forward to following your career as you move out of junior at some point into senior, because you've got it all. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jacob Sanchez of the United States, the champion here in Ankara.
Na ledino ploščo vabimo naslednje tekmovalce na 6-minutno ogrevanje. The following skaters may now take the ice for their 6 minutes warm-up. Representing Sweden, Casper Johansson, Svenska. Representing Italy, Raffaele Francesco.
Welcome back, everyone, to Ljubljana, group number 3 in the men's free program. The second day of competition, final event, and tomorrow will conclude week number 6 on the Junior Grand Prix. We'll move on to Wuxi, China next week, and that will be exciting. Mark will be at home in his studio. I'll be on site in Wuxi, bringing you the final event as we head towards December, the Junior and Senior Grand Prix final in Grenoble. As we take a look at Grayson Long from Canada, doing some very nice wallies there, Wally. Mark.
It's interesting though, Ted, I did actually see the British ice dance team and the coach, Philip O'Taylor-Green and Philip Harrison, were just chatting a little bit in the resurface break, and they were talking about going to the practice tomorrow, and I am all confused now because I feel every other Junior Grand Prix of the 5 prior to this had the men's event on the final day of competition, and and so when Phil was saying to me, "Oh, I've got a 6 a.m. practice tomorrow," and I'm like, "What? You mean 6 a.m. to go for your flight home?" I'm forgetting we still have one more day of competition here, Mark. So more to look forward to in Ljubljana.
Well, Mark, the first 2 weeks we were together. Then now you've been at home for 3, and so you're a little bit disjointed on the scheduling of this. But it is different. You're right. In Ljubljana's a bit different. Yeah.
Yeah, discombobulated. One of my favorite words. That's my feeling. Discombobulated.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Any questions that have come in from fans around the world?
There was, and I touched on it in the last warm-up group, a discussion a little bit about the grade of execution and trying to better comprehend what the term grade of execution truly means. And so we ran through in the last warm-up some of the criteria pertaining to what can enhance the good grade of execution. I can list some of the reductions for errors charts, so the judges hopefully will know very clearly the multiple reductions for errors. So for jumping elements, there are, I'll give you 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 23 different options for reductions based on the various different things that may go awry. So if the skater has, as I touched on earlier, a fall, it's a mandatory maximum -5. Other things like a weak landing position or scratching with the toe pick that can go down from a -1 to -3 grade of execution. And then there are, as I'm not going to run through all 23 of them, but the criteria are very clear. And if the skater showcases any of those mistakes, then they will have that minus GOE subtracting from the base value.
And I think that the judges do a really good job on the GOE. It's pretty set out there, so all the different scenarios are covered in that chart. They mostly know that chart by heart. So
yeah,
that's pretty well done, I must say.
Yeah, and I think it's not often that we see a +5 grade of execution jumping past. The one that's the most commonly acknowledged would be the double axel of the world champion Kaori Sakamoto, who I think that's probably one of the most commonly +5'd elements that we see on the circuit. We'll have to defer to the skating scores for any examples of better than that, but certainly you almost could tell. I think an untrained eye, even if they don't know the criteria for the bullet points and the positive features that I've referenced, they would be able to tell, well, that one's a good one and that one's a bad one. When you see a jump like a triple lutz like Anna Pizzetta, you know it's going to have a positive grade of execution.
Yeah, and also when you take a look at the quad jumps, and they're not up in the 4s or 5s, but they are the more difficult elements, so therefore they generally don't have. But when you take a look at Kaori Sakamoto's double axel, well, I don't want to say it's simple. It's not a simple jump, but it is an easier jump done at the highest possible level, and you can clearly see that. But if you're dealing with a quad axel, that's a lot more difficult. Therefore, it's done very well, but to have the type of flow out of that jump as Kaori does on a double axel, it's pretty difficult, at least at this stage in our sport.
Yeah, and the maximum, so if the skater achieves a +5, which as we said is very rare, they'll add 50% of value. Equally, if they fall over, then they get the same reverse knockoff. And an interesting debate, Ted, I touched on it when you were working elsewhere just recently in the last warm-up about the inclusion now of quintuple jumps in the ISU scale of values. And the quintuple jumps are the only group of jumps which have the same value for all the different types of takeoff. So currently, triples, triple toes, saltos, loops, flips, and lutzes, and quad saltos, loops, flips, and lutzes, and doubles of those jumps have different value, with the lutz the most, or the axle, the highest value. For the quintuples, especially because we're seeing more and more skaters choose to do quad lutz, they've established that any quintuple jump, irrespective of the takeoff, will be the same 14-point base value. And I was just saying some debate whether or not 14 points is enough. If somebody was to go out next year and whip out a quintuple salto, I think we'd say, gosh, give them all the points.
It was one of the questions I asked Ilia. Do you think 5 rotations is possible? And then I asked him, I said, and who do you think will do it first? And he laughed at that. But he said, absolutely, he says 5 is possible. There's no question of that. It's just a matter of, do you need it, or do you really want to do it? Because it's not necessary at this moment, but it certainly is possible. And he might be one of the few people in the world that might say it's possible, because he feels like a quad axe. So he says, that's not far off. Okay, I think I can do 5 on the toe loop or whatever. But I don't know. We'll see if it's ever done. But at least they've got a point scale for it. Not sure I agree with the same point scale for every single one of the quints. But, the organization will figure that out with input from the coaches and skaters.
Yep.
And here we go, group number 3.
And here, Casper Johansson chatting to his coach, new coaching staff, following the retirement of Regina Jensen, his former long-term coach. And interestingly, this morning, I did see quadruple jumps from Casper. He's competing in back-to-back events, and that because of injury that had derailed him in the off-season. But certainly, as you mentioned this time last week ahead of the free skate, Ted, he looked good in practice in the morning. I saw it live on site, a quality practice this morning. Let's hope now that Casper can make it happen in the performance.
Well, Casper Johansson, 18 years old, from Sweden, his second consecutive Junior Grand Prix, back-to-back events. He was going for the quad south to open the program, quad toe after, both popped into doubles, and I think after that, this is disappointment, of course, and the timing of some of the other jumps started to erode as well. But some other nice elements. One of the things we talked about last week in Gdansk was how much more choreography and upper body movement and commitment to the full program Casper has adopted into his program, and it's much better overall. There's a look at the quad sow attempt, and that popped, and same thing here. He needs that quickness. Maybe it was just a little too quick on the toe pick there. But the triple loop, you can see how nice and easily, when he's relaxed, he rides the takeoff edge, and it's easy into rotation. But on this day, there was certainly some challenges.
Yeah, and I think the reason that we're seeing Casper later in the Grand Prix series is a result of the injury that has derailed him. And injuries, of course, prevent training time, and training time prevents run-through repetition, and run-through repetition is what is going to allow the consistency. And that's why, last week he was 5th in the short program, but 19th in the free skate, 11th overall. Yeah. And I do, though, look forward to seeing this season progress for Casper. This is his last junior year, and he's the best skater he's been. He's just not the fittest skater that he has been.
No, and it's a really good point. It's not just also physical, it's psychological, because if you're not in the shape because you've had that injury and you're sort of a little wary of the free program, when things don't go well, it's just exhausting mentally as well, because you're not in top shape in there, but you've got to get out there and start the process. So let's take a look at Casper's free program score. He has a personal best of 127. That's going to fall quite short, probably around, there it is, 20 points short of that, but it is the season's best for him, better than last week. 107.79 for the free program. That's second so far, with a 170.64, also second overall at this stage of the competition.
Casper Johansson from Sweden has earned 107.79 points, what is his seasonal best.
Frustrating when you know how well it's going in practice with the new quads and all that, then to try to get them in competition is another stage and another process, and it can be frustrating.
Well, now to Raffaele Francesco Zich, a fascinating skater, and I just love the fact that he's given me so many wonderful quotes. He said that his dream is obviously going to the Olympics, but not just to compete, but to make everyone fall in love with this beautiful sport more and more. I want more people to fall in love with this beautiful sport, so keep talking your talk, Raffaele. Walk the walk. Let's fall in love with your skating and your free skate performance in Ljubljana.
Raffaele Francesco Zich from Italy. Now, The Silence of the Lambs, for people who haven't seen that movie, it's a really dark movie. It's extremely well done. And he had his hands over his face like the mask that was worn on that. So he really stayed to the theme of this movie. It's not a happy movie. It's not a happy program, but he was committed to the character, and he certainly carried it all the way through. Over rotation on a lot of the jumps, and what that means is the stopping of the rotation, as we see here on the triple axel, spins good, but doesn't open up early enough to get the free leg back, and then has to step out of it. I think he had 3 or 4 jumps that were stepped out on. Triple loop, got the free leg out. You see how the free leg came to the side and pushed back. That was okay, and that was what you need to balance this out. Same thing, the triple axe doesn't get the free leg back quick enough. He has to pick it up to not put it on the ice. So those young skaters listening, that checkout, stopping rotation and getting the free leg back, and your back straight and strong, so important, because that is where the element will be judged mostly.
And you know, Raffaele had obviously spoken about the importance of storytelling as we see this triple sacco to him, and he said the point of his choreography is to tell stories with the interest people as much as possible. And I just so admire the fact, you know, as you explained, Hannibal Lecter character there.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, he's coming back from injury, but he's obviously not, you know, just focused on getting back to shape. He's coming back being him. He's coming back being Raffaele, the skater that wants to tell stories, not just, oh, I've got to get a program of 11 elements back pieced together to get me back on the circuit. He's somebody that wants to come back on the circuit, but do everything that he's told me he wants to do. He's absolutely showcasing. He's a man that's speaking his words.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, you pick your theme and you do it because that's what you want to do, and you'll take a look at that as you move forward. What will the theme be next year? 125.02, that's first in the free program for Raffaele Francesco Zich from Italy with a 189.69 total competition score. That'll put him, for the moment, into first place. He's a good skater and good commitment to the program that he picked, and choreography had some step outs, quite a few little step outs in the technical jumping passes, but he sits in first.
And now to possibly the best kiss and cry reaction of the first day of competition yesterday for Lloyd Thomson and his coach Natalie Dallas, a skater in their first junior Grand Prix, and finds himself in 10th place. In the practice this morning, was working on quad sacco, working on triple axel, undecided as to quite the exact planned program content, but whatever is done in this free skate, he's done himself proud.
Lloyd Thomson from Great Britain brings great energy into this free program. Skates very open and free, quick rotator, good jumper, no question. You know, so what will be the difference for this young man where he wants to be? It's going to be the finishing, the polishing touches, the detail of choreography, the pointed toes, the stretch the back, you know, all the little things that one doesn't really like to practice too much. So if you want to be good, and actually he's part of the interview that I did with Ilia Malinin, is what he talks about. You need to work, particularly in juniors, on the things you don't like to work on. That is what's going to make you better. Nice triple lutz, double axel, no problem. Fast triple loop. Okay, the position on the landing, not strong. But as an athlete, it's all there. He's a natural jumper and spinner, no problem. But the polish, the posture, the positions, the legs and the arms, that's all work that really has to get done if he wants to go where he dreams to go.
Yeah, and I think, you know, he and his coach have done a wonderful job in getting him ready for this event without exposure to other athletes of this caliber. He trains with friends and he inspires so many in his own respective rink, but not surrounded by this talent. And the team between he and Natalie have been inspired themselves to make this happen, and now this experience will do all that Natalie has told him. You need to work just your edges, you need to work your posture, you know, you need to do all that. And I think he is an athlete, as Natalie, and he's shaped hearts, who admires some of the greats, but it's just like the stroking exercises that now can be enhancing him.
Mark, he's really good. He can be really good. So it depends on him and his coach sitting down and figuring out, okay, what do we have to work on now that we don't like to work on, but we have to if you want to go somewhere with this? Because he's a natural athlete. He's got lots of energy. He's in good shape. There's lots of good things here. And the reason I'm saying it is because I believe he could be really good.
Yes.
Right? So there's some hard, detailed work still yet to come, and hopefully he'll get motivated to do so. And 124.56, that is second in the free program for Lloyd. Good job, and nod of approval with a total competition score of 19.56. That put him first place for the moment.
This is where the association, everyone around, need to celebrate what they have done to this point and just give them love and encouragement and belief, because that's brilliant what's just been achieved. That hasn't happened often in a first Junior Grand Prix outing.
Yeah. Great job. Lots of future and potential. And good luck and very best in moving forward.
And from one skater who trains in an environment not necessarily surrounded by lots of elite international athletes to somebody who boasts some of the greatest as their coaching staff. Grayson Long here with Brian Orser and Karen Preston. And this morning I was taking notes, Ted, and furiously taking notes, and his presence distracted me. Such was the quality of his posture and composure in the practice.
16-year-old Grayson Long from Canada. We talked about him in Bangkok. This young man has improved so much. He made a mistake on the triple axel where he just popped it to a single, but he parked that totally. Moved forward, continued on the elements. The maturity of his skating, speed and flow throughout the program is so much better. He's got charisma. You mentioned that, Mark, as he sort of catches your eye in practice session. And he has all the ingredients. It's just a matter of mixing them, mixing them together at the right time. As he shakes the hand of Brian Orser, two-time Olympic silver medalist, world champion. Wow, this young man is really coming along, and it's going to be fun when it all comes together. And there'll be different stages and phases. Still only 16, very young to have all he has, and rushed that takeoff and just popped it into the single. But comes right back down the ice, fast triple Lutz, reloads down to the knee. Triple toe loop. Nice. Triple loop a little bit later in the program, and you can see him coming into the judges zone, and he pays attention. He gives attention outside the rink, not just within the boards. It's appreciated by fans and by the judges as well. And there's a triple flip Euler, triple sow a little bit later in the program, the Ina Bauer as well. He has something unique and special to himself, and he uses that extremely well, and it's going to come, or it has come down to now making sure that new element, the triple axel, gets a little bit more experience to be in the free program. He did it in the short, just popped it in the free.
And I think having seen, he popped it this morning in practice, but then went on to, in practice in the run through, still deliver lots of further triple jumps. And I mentioned the short program, his coach Karen Preston explaining that he's done a clean run through earlier this week, so that giving us an indication that it's an athlete that is doing the work, doing the run throughs, and then can rely upon that even when, as you say, mistakes are made.
Karen Preston, former Canadian champion Olympic team member in 1992 in Albertville. What a fierce competitor she was. Season's best 133.51 for Grayson Long. That is first in the free program. You can see Brian has a big smile. With a 199.54, just short of 200 mark. A great job, and you can see even with this mistake how well he's appreciated. The career continues to build for Grayson Long.
4 points, and he's currently in the lead.
So we've had one former world champion in the kiss and cry, now another former world champion in here, acting as coach. Stefan Lambert giving final wisdom to Ian Weiler, and another skater that this morning was just captivating in the way he conducts himself. And Ina Bauer in this program later on to dream of, akin to Shizuka Arakawa, the 2006 Olympic champion.
So
Okay, and you are live.
17-year-old Ean Weiler from Switzerland. Such a strong technical skater. But on this day, just losing his balance in 2 or 3 different locations, having to step out of some of the jumps uncharacteristically, because since he's been on the Junior Grand Prix, we only see solid, consistent skating. You can see him coming off the ice going a little frustrated with that. Unusual. His technique is impeccable. His skating skills and his strength and rotational position, all really beautifully crafted. But on this day, it was a bit of a struggle.
First with wonderful transitional content.
Yeah, and I think he's been so consistent in practice, and probably is in training. We'd have to talk to Stefan Lambiel about that. Is that when things go off, it's so unusual for him. It's harder for him to get back on track because his technique is so strong and he delivers it consistently. Not today. And you see that beautiful Ina Bauer later in the program that you talked about, Mark.
Yeah, like as I say, Arakawa, and I feel like this is the time when I think. For us watching, I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter mate about these scores because you're going to be amazing. Like, you already are amazing. You're just so refined, so polished, so classy, so musical, transitional content to die for. So we see much more beyond the bigger picture. And fortunately, he's shown all the gratitude possible to his former coach, Katrina Zanta, but now in the hands of Stefan Lambiel, who's mindful of the bigger picture, who knows that I can put into context the score here that is not indicative of what he's capable of.
And also, you never planned for these, but you need these days. These days are so valuable, not at the moment, but they will be in the future. We always say that because it's true. And he's so solid already, but these days with unstable or unstable landings will serve him well moving forward. He'll know what it feels like. He'll know how to adapt and adjust in the program. So his personal best is 127.59 in the free program. And he has an overall 195.52. He'll fall short probably on both those scores today with a 119.29 for the free program. That is 4th. Total competition score of 185.33. That will also keep him in 4th place, at least at this point of the competition, with a number of skaters still to come.
Well, we've just seen Stefan Lambiel in the kiss and cry. He's responsible for some of the choreography for this next competitor, Haru Kakiuchi. He'll be a little bit disappointed to not have placed in the top group. Had a struggle with a triple-triple combination in this short program. Looked good in practice this morning. Another very elegant and refined performer.
18-year-old Haru Kakiuchi from Japan. Such a good skater. Had a couple mistakes here on the quad toe and triple X a little bit later in the program. But as all Japanese skaters have wonderful skating skills, cover the ice, always accelerating, effortless skating in many ways.
Yeah, such a classy skater. And you know, I said in the short program about the injury preventing him from including triple axel, but he did also say no excuses though. And he's just grateful for all the support he has. And I so admire that. And I also admire the fact that he leaves the ice stoic, frustrated. It's not as good as the performance he had previously on the JGP, but...
No, he doesn't wear those negative emotions on his shoulders. You can see the quad toe a little under-rotated in the system for sure, but he managed to stay on his feet. That was great. Beautiful ice coverage on the double axel, the triple lutz. No problem. Gets the free leg back. See how quickly that free leg came back? So important, not only for jump combinations, but also to stabilize landings. And there's another triple lutz double toe. And triple saw a little bit later. Fast rotator, good speed on the takeoff, through the air, on the landings. Those are the ingredients you need to have consistent and high GOEs, quality scores for those jumping passes. Always has a smile, eh?
Doesn't he? And I love that.
Yeah.
I love the fact that even in and around this venue, he's had the smile.
What is on his knees? Is that like a Kleenex box or something that's
I think so.
Sponsored? I don't know. Yeah.
It says Japan on it. It looks like a Japanese blossom. What I need to ask, I'll find out the intel.
Yeah, I noticed that in the short program he didn't move. He just, just right there.
And Haru Kakiuchi, another skater in their final Junior Grand Prix outing, and you know we've seen him competing on the Junior Grand Prix before. He's medaled. He was third in Budapest last year. In 2022, he was 8th and 7th. He was 4th in Bangkok, and you know a skater that will now need to really, really hone in on the difficult plan program content to be able to make the senior international experiences for that nation.
Yeah, and this is his 4th year on the Junior Grand Prix, so he certainly has experience at this level as he starts to graduate into senior. 126.31 for the free program. That's second for the total competition score of 194.38. That will also put him in second place with 6 skaters to come.
126.31 points in his free skating, and in total 194.38 points, and he's currently at the second place.
We'll mark the final group about to take the ice for their 6-minute warm-up. And there is the start order. Jacob Sanchez from the United States has a 5-point lead over Adam Hagara. Adam, of course, was the very first Slovakian male skater to win a Junior Grand Prix. Did that last year in Linz. But just last week, another Slovakian skater won a Junior Grand Prix event. So it's pretty exciting what's happening in that country, not only in the men's event, but in the women's and the dice dance and the pairs as well.
Yeah, it's going to be incredibly interesting to see how everything ties up. I'm led to believe that if Jacob and Adam stay in the same placements today, Adam would need to score a certain score of 126.1 to pass Shunsuke Nakamura in a tiebreaker. And so there are all these repercussions and ramifications, and that's when the mathematicians get excited about the consequences of what could take place. And
there's still next week in Uji that some of the results could be in the mix as well. We'll have to take a look at that after this event. So have you done any more begging for questions, or for next week at least?
Definitely did beg, but alas, my my desperation, my plea has come unanswered. Although I think it's been great to just dive into a little bit of an analysis, as we have done with the basics of figure skating, regarding some of the implications of what happens on the ice for the skaters. And we do talk about the grade of execution with some examples, and I think that'll be, I'm not sure when that will be released, but we do start to talk about that. And I think what is the challenge for us is making sure that we satisfy the ardent skating fans who are really familiar with criteria, with the detail, and there is so much detail. You can lose a day of your life reading the communications and the different criteria for positive and negative grades of execution, versus giving a simple context for a skater or a fan who still, as we've heard from some of them listening, isn't familiar with what an outside edge and an inside edge might be.
Yeah, but it's a really good point. It's, we're serving a wide group of public, of viewers, those that are experts, those that feel they're experts, some that feel they're not experts, just a different set. And we use a lot of language that is familiar to us, but not to them. And also many viewers who speak English, but it may not be their first language. So the words that they would use or need to understand something we may not use. And so there's so many complications in communication. But certainly that's why a picture is worth 1,000 words. And that's why having you do examples like you did, we still have the GOE one coming out, that nice one of the sit spin that you did in Ostrava. So those things I think are helpful because they're visual.
Yes, and we can talk, as we did in the last warm-up or 2 warm-ups ago, about those bullet points, and perhaps now, we've discussed with some that have been watching and following the International Skating Union on social media, the difference between some of the jump takeoffs, and then now we're starting to delve deep into the grades of execution and those bullet points. So see if you would assign very good height and very good length to a jump. Would you give a good takeoff and a landing? Would you consider it effortless throughout? And if we just cast our minds back to what happened in the short program, in terms of a maximum +5 and a maximum -5, if we consider Jacob Sanchez the leader, his opening triple axel had some +3s, many +3s from the judges. His triple flip had a +4 from one judge. So that's an indication of those criteria: very good height, very good length, good takeoff, good landing, and effortlessness throughout. And that the reason why he is the 5th highest scoring short program junior man ever so far.
Yeah, that is huge. Yeah, that's amazing.
And I suppose, as we discussed, as we see, so in terms of that triple axel, I would say very good height, very good length, good takeoff, yeah, but maybe not good landing, so maybe not getting that bullet point. Yeah. Effortless, maybe not, because it had a little bit of a tightness to it. So I'd say a +1 on that grade of execution from the judging panel. So just trying to ascertain what will be assigned, and then consequently the points that are given when a +1 goes in the system. And it goes, the Swiss timing guys that organize the system for the skaters, they attend every event. The inputs immediately go into a program that sorts out the scores. These scores of, Grayson Long 133.51. It doesn't come up with a calculator. It all gets input into the system and sorted immediately.
No, the interesting thing up the upper left-hand part of your screen during the performance of a skater, you'll see the scores that have come in. The leader, you'll see the leader score, technical score that is, not the overall score, but the technical score for the elements. And you'll see that the skater currently on the ice, those numbers will start to climb. Now, what's interesting about that, well, if you think about it, the skater does a jump, and you've got 7, 8 judges on the panel putting the scores on. How do they come out so quickly? So the whole process is quick. In the early days of the system, that never happened that quickly because the judges didn't put the scores in that quickly.
Yeah.
But now things are timed out, so you're really getting live scoring at the moment as you're watching the skater, at least technically as you're watching the skater. Now that can change because of the reviews by the technical panel a little bit later, but it's a pretty accurate and good indication, technically at least, of how well the current skater is doing against the leader. So check that out in the upper left-hand part of your screen. Get familiar with that. And as well, I think they have the dots there. Green means a positive GOE. Red means a negative GOE, points taken away. I think the beige one just means No positive or negative.
Yeah.
Here we go. Final group. Mark, take it away.
Well, opening this final group, Genrikh Gartung, he was much better in the short program here than in Riga, and this morning in practice, the second quad lutz that he did in the run through this morning was just dreamy. And he will skate to a James Brown medley of pieces and intends 2 quads in this program. What a roller coaster that performance was for Genrikh Gartung from Germany, opening with a huge quadruple lutz in combination with triple toe, advancing upon the brilliance that he showcased in his opening element in Riga and the free skate there when the quad lutz was on its own. He added over 3 points of grade of execution. That opening element, 19 points in just the first jumping pass. He then adds another 14 points with a good quality grade of execution, second quad lutz. In the middle of the program, the middle minute of the program, just he'd like to relive completely and entirely with 2 falls, and then manages to come back with a couple of triple flips at the end. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the judges will assess the combination of different factors for Genrikh, but certainly this opening. So looking for a very good height and a very good length. Good takeoff and good landing, and effortlessness throughout. So I dare say, see if it matched the music, but it would be a +3 for many as we see the second. Good height, good length. Not so sure about good takeoff, a little bit of pre-rotation of the blade, but good landing and effortless. And then here that ease continued with the triple loop, and at this point, Genrikh looked like he could be contending for potentially even being a leader of the whole event, given the high value strength of those opening quadlutzes. The second most weighted of the quadruple jumps after Ilia Malin's quad axel. And then here we see an insight into the skating skills, and although there is some chance to see some presentation and composition, that an indication that his skating skills not as strong as that of the likes of Grayson Long, who we've seen already. And then these two falls in the middle of the program spelled a disaster from which he did recover from and showcase strength of character to regroup when he would have been exhausted. And again, amazing to see the different approaches. We've seen brilliance from Raffaele Zich from Italy with composition and presentation, and Grayson Long the same, but Genrikh absolutely smashing the others out of the park in regards to the technical element score. And we know that although he only showcased quad lutzes, he can do quad flip, he's working quad sal, he's working quad toe, and you sense that the disappointment that he showcases in the kiss and cry gives us a feeling that he will return with even better. And Nico showcasing that as step by step. Can he improve on 136.86 from the 4th place free skate in Riga? He does add 3 points. I'm sure he knows it could be so much more if there hadn't been that 6th and 7th element falls. But he leads at this stage. And smiles and laughter from Ray Schiffner, Nico Ulanovsky and Genrikh Gartung in the kiss and cry, and a thumbs up from Coach Nico. Mother and son holding hands, sharing a moment, as they have done so many times before. Arlet Levandi leaves his mother Anna, and this will be such a stark contrast to the approach from the German Genrikh Gartung. Enjoy creativity of movement, flexibility of body, showcased from the very beginning in a start position. A little bit of a nosebleed for Estonian Arlet Levandi. And when editing the replays for you to enjoy following the performance often is the jumping passes, which we aim to showcase. But for Arlet Levandi, I kept being just so impressed by the presentation commitment and transitional content. I believe that has some of the most engaged presentation consistently throughout all of the transitions, interspersing the 11 elements that perhaps any I have seen. The concept and theme here so utterly embraced, and I think I would go into the 8s for the presentation as we see him go for the triple axel, which so often eludes him. But here, this is acting, the storytelling that judges' criteria talks about engagement. Every arm movement here, the flex of the hand, the lift of the head, considered with a sincerity to it. Triple H, triple toe, okay, but it's not the jumping passes which make Arlet Levandi stand out. These were obviously not to the success that he was wanting. Double flip Euler, triple salto. It's movements like that, but movements out of the transitional content. Inebauer followed by edges with body movement that I think only he, perhaps Nikita Sheiko, could do in this event. Even the dynamic commitment to the finish position, it speaks so hugely. And gosh, it's an interesting concept as to the validity of higher component scores, because what Arlet offered there, few on senior level can do, but Genrikh Gartung has a quad lutz that Arlet Levandi cannot do, and that's why he may lose the lead that he has over the German skater. And Arlet Levandi's tech score looks like it's going to be below 60, but his program component scores above 70. I dare say they could be higher still. So much to admire from the PCS perspective. Needs 139.67 to maintain his lead at this stage of the competition.
Arlet Levandi iz Estonije za svoj prosti program prejel 131,14 točke.
Not going to be that. 131.14, third on the free skate.
Najboljši rezultat v tej sezoni.
Although he surpasses 200 points, it will be second for Arlet Levandi. And we thank him and his team for the brilliance of some of that composition and presentation.
5 points, and that is also his seasonal best. He's currently at the 2nd place.
And as it was in this short program, the mother-son coach-pupil combinations back-to-back again. Julia Sheiko stands ringside as she and we enjoy watching her son Nikita Sheiko. And perhaps he is the crossbreed of the two previous competitors in regards to the balancing act of technical element score and program component scores. Dracula, the soundtrack for this free skate. A more consistent triple axel than Arlet Levandi, but it wasn't 100% in practice this morning. We wish him all the very best.
I've seen so many sunsets in my life. I should know everything there is worth knowing. But since I saw your face, I don't know where I am. There's no map that can show me where I'm going. The longer I live, the more I wonder if I know anything at all. If I've ever been in love, I can't recall.
2 years ago I was minding my business, tending my garden at sunrise. I heard a voice in my head that intrigued me. I answered yes, but I unwise. Thus it began all the long preparation
Well, Nikita Sheiko delivering a better performance than in Riga, pushing himself and his boundaries with 2 triple axels on this occasion. The first of the 2, much more successful. But obviously with increased risk comes increased potential for mistake, and that second triple axel fall, we'll see how costly that will be as we see how he will fare with the advancing Genrikh Gartung from Germany. Wonderful storytelling and concept yet again. Schindler's List for their short program, the Dracula soundtrack, and the variations of music choice, somewhat original for Nikita, as we see the first of the 2 triple axels, and that comfortable, and yet unfortunately after this back inside to back outside change edge, just off axis, and a painful, difficult fall, which all credit to Nikita. He didn't allow that painful fall to derail him. He uses the triple loop combo so wonderfully well. Most do triple loops, triple toe. He triple loops, triple loop, which has about 0.7 increased difficulty. This one of his trademarks, the difficult transitional entry into the triple flip. And again, that has a potential bullet point. A creative entry can enhance creative execution, and he's got that in his belt. And at this point in time, the 2 double axels following that triple loop suggest that Nikita is extremely well trained. I know that he has to train very, very early, and that will make it all the more difficult to do the run-throughs. It's not easy to push through these incredibly difficult, demanding physical feats at any time of day, but certainly much more challenging earlier. And so that a testament to the diligence that he showcases. And this is a skater who dreams of being a high-level senior competitor, and also dreams of being invited to do shows in Japan, as we've seen. We've just heard the release of Yuzuru Hanyu's new show. The Japanese skating audience so appreciative of quality skaters, and I think that a wonderful inspiration for Nikita, and that perhaps what fuels the artist within him. Needs 139 to stay ahead, much like Arlet Levandi did. And it's 133, much higher than in Riga. But second overall, and a thumbs up from Mum. As Nikita moves into second place.
With short program, he earned at this competition 202 points, .58.
And now
He's currently at the second.
A high 10 for the skater in third place after the short program.
Next to compete, representing Korea,
Habin Choi. And he this morning in practice diligently, quietly, unassumingly worked through multiple triple jump and quad attempts. He intends to start with quadruple toe loop. Just 14 years of age. Habin Choi, who again in this men's event, tumultuous men's event, has taken us again on another roller coaster of a performance with two peaks and troughs. It seemed the open quad salco, intended quad toe, turned into a glorious quadruple salco, followed by a better triple axel than we saw in warm-up with the double axel in sequence. And then two falls, and then some resumption with another glorious triple axel, and then a pop single loop. So this is where it gets really hard to compute how this will compare with others. Genrikh Gartung had a couple of falls as well, but he had the more valued quad lutzes. And Habin Choi here showcasing a +3, I believe, grade of execution of quad salco. And then keeps great flow to the end on the landing of the double axel following the triple axel. And then disaster strikes with that triple lutz. And another one with a horrible fall that really must have knocked the stuffing out of him. Here, interesting to note, his choreographer Yeji Shin acknowledging that this a young boy who loves the athleticism of the sport, loves to jump, and she's had to work hard to try to instill him in an artistry, and we could see that there. Then this great triple flip Euler triple salco, but then the popped triple loop. So a very mixed bag as he sits in the kiss and cry with his coach. And this is where the judges have to stick to the criteria that they have to make the scoring system take care of itself, because the performances by the men thus far have all been quite messy. We'll all get sorted out in the wash as Habin Choi simulates the jump takeoffs. He assumes, I'm sure, what cost him potentially a medal. He comes in third place after the short program. He needs a 137.81 to lead. He had a 120 when he competed in Bangkok, and he had 3 falls in that skate. So this an indication of a level of consistency that he will obviously be working on. And just 14 years of age. I think probably the youngest in this final flight of men in the top 6. It's a 129.79, 5th on the free skate and 3rd overall. So it looks like Genrikh Gartung, well indeed Genrikh Gartung will climb from 6th to at least a bronze medal position. 2 skaters yet to skate.
With all the programs in this competition, he earned 200
so
points.
now to Adam Hagara. He has given so much excitement in his Junior Grand Prix career. I'll say it's ending, but it may not be ending, because he will be vying to qualify for the final again, having achieved that a year ago. Achieved a personal best in his short program yesterday, despite nursing a small injury. James Bond 007 theme. Adam Hagara banking on all of his experience and consistency in coming back from the disappointing fall in the very first element to rally through the remaining 10 in his free skate here in Ljubljana in Slovenia. Such a stalwart of the junior men's circuit. Nice to see that he continues to have support following him. Looking good. The exclamation mark assigned to both of his triple flips indicates that an outside edge is his takeoff edge instead of the inside. And the triple sacco near the end of the program, fatigue finds that being marked as a quarter rotation short, which will have an impact on the grade of execution, not the base value of the element. And he's joined by his head coach, Vadym Novakov. And as I said in the short program, such an organized skater to be able to juggle participation at senior championships, junior championships, and the Junior Grand Prix, and he will, I'm sure, go into Challenger Series events while still maintaining his education. And he does so with just such good grace and composure. Perhaps it's because he's been supported by the Slovakian Skating Federation to compete so many times that he has a pragmatic approach, maintains a very level composure as he now considers what will be done. The leading free skate score from Genrikh is 139, but as I say, Adam had a comfortable margin of a lead. It's that score of 136.53, although behind Genrikh on this evening's performance will not be enough to have the German lead. Adam Hagara leads, so it will be a silver, at least to add to the bronze from Ostrava for Adam Hagara. And he has 24 points now.
That is also his seasonal best. With his short program, he earned
scales up the Junior Grand Prix standings this year.
23 points, and that brings him currently to the leading position.
So now for Jacob Sanchez. He won in Ankara. I believe that he was the final skater in the free skate at that event, but it wasn't the dream skate that he was hoping for there. Hoping to lay that down now. Such a cool customer. Again, that evident in practice this morning. Just so mature in his approach, and yet still has another junior season in hand should he choose to stay in the junior ranks. Well, in a very mixed event in the men's free skate with the 24 competitors, that undoubtedly the skater that rose to the occasion. The pressure of being the leader after the short program withstood by Jacob Sanchez. And I wonder who that is waving his flag proudly. And he had, as I said, mistakes en route to the title that he won in Ankara, as his coach Oleg Makarov greets him off the ice. Not so much so, not perfect, but last time he had a fall on the second triple axel. The opening triple axel, has so much length, comfortably done. A hand down on this, the second, but a success. This was the mistake he made before though, a popped triple loop, a single loop. That's now happened 2 times in his junior Grand Prix. Perhaps the memory of the mistake in Ankara invading his brain space for that jump, but otherwise, not just landing the jumping passes, but showcasing a quality unlike that we've seen from others. The Wally and back inside counter, and here an indication not just that he's a jumping machine, but that he has some sensitivity to the music and some unique movement patterns there as the knee slide, a part of the choreo sequence. And now, surely Jacob Sanchez will take the title, but by how much? And does he now put himself potentially as a front runner for the Junior Grand Prix final? Is this as he and Oleg blow kisses out to those back home? And well, Larissa Selezneva, Oleg's wife and also coach of Jacob, does Jacob now put himself in as a front runner for Junior World Championships? We will see Jan Hao Lee compete from New Zealand next week in the final stop in the Junior Grand Prix. And then the Junior Grand Prix final will be competed in December. So Jacob's score from Ankara was 139.11. He only needs 132 to take the title. Nervous way. Looking more nervous than he's looked all week, I think, as he awaits the score now that his work is done. Have the judges done what he hopes they have?
Jacob Sanchez z drużyny država Amerike za svoj prostý program.
So not just the title, but the lead in both the short program and the free skate. A hearty pat in the back from his coach. And Jacob Sanchez secures 30 points on the Junior Grand Prix Series 2024, a 12-point lead over Adam Hagara. Genrikh Gartung moving up from 6th place to take the bronze medal. And now he has undoubtedly booked a return flight to Europe to compete in Grenoble in France in 2 months' time. What will he be able to achieve in the next 2 months as we look ahead to seeing him compete once more? Their confirmation of the results. An exciting, exhilarating roller coaster of an event with a very diverse group of skaters with different focuses from both the technical score and the program components. And actually one of the best performances for any of the skaters comes from that of Ziga Jevnik, the skater in 24th of the 24 competing, but I think he delivered what he's capable of, perhaps just as well as any of the others. And you can just see now the carpet being rolled out for the medal ceremony. I'm Mark Henretti. I'm grateful to all the wonderful members of the ISU production team in joining us throughout the day. We hope you've enjoyed the coverage of day 2 from Ljubljana and Slovenia. You can stay tuned to watch the medal ceremony, and hopefully you will join us again for the final day of coverage with the free dance to conclude the ice dance competition and the women's free skate, which will take place tomorrow. But for now, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to sharing more great skating with you from Ljubljana and Slovenia tomorrow.
tekmovanje v okviru mladinske serije v umetnostnem drsanju proglasitev najboljših dveh mladincev. ISU Junior Grand Prix of Figure Skating Ljubljana Cup 2024 Victory Ceremony Men. Tretje mesto, bronasto medaljo, je osvojil predstavnik Nemčije. Third and winner of the bronze medal from Germany, Genrikh Gartung. Drugo mesto, srebrno medaljo, je osvojil predstavnik Slovaške. Second and winner of the silver medal from Slovak Republic, Hagara. Zlato medaljo je osvojil predstavnik Združenih držav Amerike, first and winner of the gold medal from United States of America, Jacob Sanchez. Predsednik Olimpijskega komiteja in Združenja športnih zvez Slovenije, the President of National Olympic Committee and Association of Sports Federations of Slovenia. Rože bo prvi krik zročila, please welcome Mrs. Jasha Riprosenc, častna članica Mednarodne kosalne zveze ISU Honorary Member. She is presenting the flowers and the gifts. Sedaj prisluhnimo himni države zmagovalca. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can please stand for the national anthem of the winner. fight vrlo šťastným krokom Šenka predstavili najboljši triatleti na pokalu Ljubljane 2024 v okviru mladinske serije Ispred Drsa. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your medalists. Današnji program vabimo se na pridružite jutri, ko bodo na sporedu programi v kategoriji mladin in prosti plesi v kategoriji mladinskih parov. This concludes the competition. Today, please you are welcome for tomorrow competitions of free skating for junior, women and free dance or dance couples.
Since you felt like this, been a while since you felt like this, been a while since you felt like this, there must be something wrong. I guess I thought. Been a while since you felt like this.